Hey guys, welcome back to more AFK Arena. In today's video, we're over on the test server taking a look at the new Lightbearer hero, Morrow the Dark Crow. Now, this dude is an intelligence-based mage, and he's got some pretty sick skills. So this is the first Lightbearer I've actually been like really excited about in a long time. So I'm pumped for this guy. I don't know if he's going to be the most viable, but I definitely think he is going to be usable. Not sure on top tier. I really like it. The problem is he's sort of a mix of control and damage, it seems, which I'm not sure if his damage is going to be enough to make him a core damage dealer, and I'm not sure if his control's enough to make him the best controller, but I think when you put him into a team, I think he's going to work well. I think synergies with like Graveborns and stuff when I think of him, but I'm sure some smarter people than me will come up with some better comps, but I definitely think this guy is viable. I think he's just got an absolutely wicked design. Once again, they have smashed the design. Let's take a look at the 2D art as well. As you can see, I love this in-game sprite. I think it's absolutely savage. So let's get into the skills. So his ultimate ability, Eye of Evil. Morrow summons an Eye of Evil that deals 200% damage 5 times to enemies within range. Enemies that are burnt are unable to use their ultimate abilities for 4 seconds. So it's a very straight sort of line. When he's in back mid, I believe he'll, like if he's in back mid in standard formation, I think he'll hit the 2 tanks and the one in the back mid of the enemy team. It's not very wide, so it won't go past that. So think sort of Iran's pull range. That's what I think it is from the little bit of testing that I did. But yeah, so it's basically 1000% damage, and he burns them with it, and they can't use their ultimate abilities for 6 seconds. I feel like this in itself is very clutch in a lot of situations where you do a ton of damage, which normally is going to boost their energy bars to the point where they can ult, but they can't ult for 6 seconds. So first thing, I love this guy. Now, I know people always say I used to overhype things, but I've been pretty down on heroes lately, so I'm going to be hyped about this guy because I think he's going to be sick. Moving on from that, Binding Terror. Morrow summons a spider that cocoons an enemy, dealing 220% damage to them in the process, also preventing them from moving or following moving for the following 4 seconds. Damage raised to 250. Enemy is unable to move and use abilities for 6 seconds. Now, when I first saw that, I was like, what, just special abilities? Like, do they still basic attack? But they are completely webbed. It's like Spider Chick, you know, the legendary tier hero, Spider Chick, I can't remember her name. But it's like that. They're completely webbed. They can't do anything. For 6 seconds, ain't bad. Then we move on to the next one. So we've got big damage. So far we've got big damage with cancel ults. And then we've got a web with not too bad damage, but 6 second single target CC. Next up, Demonic Murmurs. I just love these abilities. Morrow releases core gas behind the enemy that has dealt the highest amount of damage and deals 250% damage to them. Also manipulating them into attacking their own allies for 6 seconds. That's another 6 second CC, mind you. While the enemy target is being manipulated, they are unable to use their ultimate ability and shall not be targeted by the ability Binding Terror. So basically what that's saying is, it's like Nomura's mind control. They can use their special abilities, like they can use the ability 2, 3, and 4, but they can't use their ultimate. So it's like a Nomura charm for 6 seconds, and if they are charmed by this, then he's not going to use this CC on them. So he's already got massive damage with a ult cancellation and 2 6 second CCs, one of them being a mind control. Absolutely savage. Moving on from that, Morrow deals an additional 220% damage to an enemy while attacking them. This ability can only target the same enemy once every 4 seconds. Additional damage is dealt equal to 10% of all damage dealt by the enemy target, but shall not exceed 400% of Morrow's attack rating. This is where I'm saying he's got good damage. The ability's effect will be triggered while sorry, I can't read. I'm too excited. The ability's effect will be triggered while the enemy is being manipulated by core gas. So, meaning when they are manipulated, it can also trigger on that. So, what I'm looking at here is, especially if it's a drawn out match, and like you just get basically a free damage from this passively every time he hits someone. Keeping in mind he has these abilities that don't have to hit his current like select target, they hit other targets. meaning that he's going to spread this extra damage out nicely. And if it's a drawn out fight and you've got this much CC to draw out a fight, like, you're going to be doing massive damage towards the end of the battle. And this is where the additional damage is where I see real good campaign usage, just due to the fact that, you know, they deal a lot of damage. So if you have some really thick tanks and a nice sustain team, him in a sustain team, it's going to go on for longer. They would have dealt more damage overall, meaning this ability, which can be triggered from basic attacks, just is eventually going to deal a truckload of damage. That's the way I understand it anyway. And it's just, there's a lot of damage in his kit, along with some great CC. So moving on from that, after releasing Core Gas, which Core Gas is the one that does the mind control, which is ability 3. So after releasing Core Gas, a murder of crows assail the enemy target, ignoring their defense rating and dealing 100% damage per second until Core Gas manipulation ends. So it's not bad. So it's like you mind control them, get them to deal damage, but you're also going to be dealing damage to them, so they don't like come out of it scot-free. So it's not bad. I don't mind it. And then we get extra damage on the level 10, and then at level 20, Morrow. I always suck at this name. I keep saying Morrow. Morrow recovers health equal to 100% of damage dealt by the crows, which ain't too bad. And then allied units will prioritize their attacks against enemies that have not been manipulated by the demonic murmurs ability. So once again, that's going to be this one. So the charmed enemy will lose priority on your allies. So this becomes like a whole nother thing where you can bypass enemies with all of your allies because they get charmed, and then your enemies go and invade the back row or something like that. But we'll have to see how this plays out. Moving on from that, losing my... What just happened there? How did we get there? Okay, there we go. It must hit visit in. Okay, furniture. When all non-summoned allies have lost a combined 10% of their health. I'm not sure how this is going to be calculated based on the wording. It's a bit hazy on me. The duration of the debuff effects dealt by Morrow will be extended by 5% and may be extended by a maximum of 100%. Once again, in a sustainy type team that can do long type battles, like then you just end up CCing them with all of his abilities for like 12 seconds. It ain't bad. Like that's gonna be 100% uptime because he's just gonna recast them. Each time an enemy uses a negative effect on an allied hero, the damage effects of Abyssal Retribution shall be dealt to them. Ability may only be triggered once every 4 seconds. Now Abyssal Retribution is this ability, but I think it's on a separate cooldown. So I think you'd be able to use this one twice, being once. I feel like it's a separate ability. Don't quote me on that, but it's like when he attacks them, he can do this on a 4-second cooldown. But if he does that 1 second later, if they use a control ability, then this should actually trigger it as well. And I think they should be on their own cooldowns, but not 100% sure. We'll have to get into more testing. But as you can see, the kit on this guy is really nice. Big damage, big CC, quite nice. Maybe in a... I'm just considering... Now, hear me out here before we get into it. With this ability that's hitting the grouped up enemies, I'm not going to say Iron in this one, but I'm going to say maybe in like a chicken burst comp with this guy in like PvP, where it's like you bring in him plus chicken plus whatever else. I'd say like a Leica, a Rowan. So you have him with Windbinder. You have Rowan in there and Leica. You basically boost him up as fast as possible. Hit everyone like ASAP with this 1000 damage multiplier, which is also he's going to get this damage on top of it, and then they're going to be unable to use ultimates for 4 seconds. Then he's going to passively cast these 2 abilities as well, which CC 2 enemies. Like I just see that as being like a savage thing in PvP. I don't know about PvE, purely because it's... I don't know if it'll scale high enough, but I think in PvP, like literally him, Chicken, Rowan, Leica, X could be pretty savage. We'll have to wait and see. That's just my opinion. I'm not the greatest PvP player. I'm actually probably one of the worst. So, you know, we'll wait for some pros to get an idea about that. But let's go in and take a look at his skills. So that's the web. You can see they ain't doing anything after that. So that's that Morrow, I can't remember what the name of it is, the charm, but unfortunately the charm deals too much damage and kills them every time. And check this out, boom, the flames, so much rampage damage. And then remember, anyone hit by that, 6 seconds, no ults, get wrecked. I just see this as being huge. I just see it as finally we get a good light bearer. And the great thing about him is he doesn't feel like a light bearer. He feels like a Graveborn in my mind. But like, it's sick. So there you go, there's the mind control. You can see it keeps that animation on their head, and then he won't web the one that is being mind controlled. So that is sick. I just love this. I cannot wait. I gotta get this guy's frame. I've actually got to get this guy's frame. So you normally want to put him in the middle, I'd say. For this fight, I don't know if I want to, just because the Cecilia's there. So we're going to scrap that. We're just going to go like this. We'll try and get some sustain in there. We'll stop them getting their pyramid. Not that it really matters, because K-Source is the only one. We'll put like a Leica in there, and we'll put like a... Get the shields. Like, let's just see. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. You can see that, like, once again, the scaling on this isn't great. So, like, he's already killed the Verk with the mind control a bit. Like, things are just dying way too quick. Like, you can see up the top, Leica and what's-her-face were shredding things. Like, just boom. Like, these things are hard to test because the scaling's funny. So, like, they're not full deficits, but that's just an idea. As you can see, Leica did a truckload of damage. Let's try one more formation in that. Let's go back here. Let's get into it. But he does have some self-sustain as well. I'm wondering if this guy's like a viable early game carry. Where it's like you just try and get him to ult and win. Nah, you'd probably need chicken with furniture. You'd probably need chicken with furniture. I'm definitely going to go for this guy though. I'm definitely going to go for him. So let's go. Let's leave him in. See, this is the frustrating thing. Like, I don't know where to... Like, why do they have to have the Cecilia there? Like, that is just so scummy. Let's just do like a pure tanky team. We'll go Lucius, we'll go you, and we'll go Rigby. Let's let him shine. Let's let him shine. Okay. So there we go. So here comes the spider wrap, I think it is. Yeah, like this is just really bad. So that was the charm thing, but it's just everything's just one-shotting things. So it's really hard to test on this. I cannot wait to get the trial version of this guy and actually test him out with a chicken that has furniture. I think it's gonna be savage. That animation too, dude. It's got good job on the design. Good job on a good light bearer design. Props to the team for that. This guy's sick. I'm really excited. Hot take, I think he's gonna be amazing. I think he's definitely going to be viable somewhere. I hope he's just godly everywhere because he deserves it. He's a cool character. But anyway, guys, that is Morrow the Dark Crow. I will test him tomorrow when he drops for the trial version because I am so pumped for this guy. Finally, we get something that's really exciting in a new character. Anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.